My first question right off the bat, who the heck thought, let's get a big popcorn and let's put it on a flagpole and let's drop it on New Year's Eve? Who the heck thought of that?
Okay, all right.
fun.
Well, I can remember very well, we all saw the Possum Drop in the movie, and it was sort of a hit in our little town, Chagrin Falls. In fact, it was in Brasstown, North Carolina.
Part of the film festival.
Right, it was a film festival, it was the second film festival, I believe. And I think we were all a party, right, dude?
Yeah.
And I kept thinking, you know, Chagrin Falls is so beautiful, Christmas time, why don't we have something on New Year's Eve? Dewey!
So you watched a documentary
Right.
at the film festival,
Right.
which is a tradition here in Chagrin Falls.
Right,
To then spark an idea of another tradition. Where was the point where you said, you know what, this is gonna be an every year thing, and it's gonna be a tradition, spark it?
so anyway, so we're thinking, well, if we do a popcorn ball, of course, I'm thinking of a normal little popcorn ball. How are we gonna drop it? I'm thinking, should we get a cherry picker? You know, have it come in and drop it? And I was up at the gym, and I came out, and I was trying to think, how can we drop this ball? And I came out, and there's this nice flagpole out in front of Snap. I went, oh, that's really
There it
good.
was.
I got in the car, went down to Chagrin, and here's this beautiful flagpole.
And I love that you got to throw in that you were working out. I love that. We are 2013 going into the new year of 14. And you get a team together. Who are the crazy people that said, yes, I will join you on
Well,
this?
you know, the first person,
You.
well,
The
besides
fact
me,
that Dewey was gonna do it, it couldn't have happened.
So you went to Dewey and said, can we do
we
a
can build
popcorn
a
ball?
ball, but then, you know, we can build a ball. We've done it before, but not, we've never done one this large before. But the real key to this whole thing has been Rob Schwinn. I mean, Rob from the Chagrin hardware store, he's a mad genius in engineering. He stayed up late nights and worked on this thing all summer and figured out how to slide a huge popcorn ball down the flagpole. It's not that easy. You don't just hoist it up with the ropes like a flag. It's not like that. You got pulleys and all kinds of, nobody else could figure this out.
And the
But
fact that Rob, he is so busy getting involved in this year's fun that he is not even here to be with us. That's how busy and preoccupied
yeah,
he
it's
is.
kind of like that. He's also really a behind-the-scenes guy, you know. He's a very humble, beautiful man. I just want to give him so much credit. Rob Schwinn.
He's the master mechanic.
Yeah.
But we also have a committee of people that help us. It's not just the three of us and Rob Schwinn. We have other people like Marianne Ponce, Louise Brick, Kathy Schwinn, Sue Hogan, and others
Jan
which
Jones.
help us, Jan Jones, which help us put this all together.
Yeah, but Rob, as if we take a look at this picture, he's the one that kind of came up with the contraption that allowed you guys to actually drop it.
Right.
And were there any worries this year, or were we all confident it was gonna drop?
First year, there was some apprehension as to whether we could get it up the flagpole and down the flagpole. And that was the beauty of the first popcorn ball drop, because it was about 28 degrees. We didn't know how it was going to come down, and anyhow the ropes froze on the flagpole. And we had three guys tugging on a rope to get it down. And
It was
what
about
we did
full,
is-
really.
But it dropped.
But it dropped. It made it, but the countdown had to go to the half second because it was coming down so slow.
And Dewey, you look like you have a smile on your face, so you feel like,
Oh, I do. What a riot this was. I mean, I don't know if you guys noticed the senior elves involved with this. This is a group that Tom kind of put together, but I mean, I think I think I'm the youngest at 68. You know? and they're out there, and that first year it was Arctic weather. It was so cold, but it was also probably the most beautiful. The snow came on cue. And it was cold, and we drew a crowd. I mean, I don't know, a few hundred.
so at this point, we're saying, yeah, we're going for number 2?
You bet.
Well,
Yeah.
once you start something like this, it becomes a tradition.
Yeah.
You can't go back.
You can't go back. So then the next year, a little bigger, a little better. You guys included a drawing because the funds were going to help, or the township hall was kind of the collaboration in this, right?
Right, any money that we raise goes into the township hall for renovation fund. It's a capital project for improvements in township hall.
People really got into it this year, including hats. Hats came out.
The popcorn cone hits was
With
spontaneous.
cone
We had no idea.
This was
that
not
happening.
planned.
This was not planned. These
They
folks-
are hysterical.
And they like it.
Were they local? Or
Oh, yeah. They
Yeah.
were local. She and her folks, I think, sat around and watched Christmas movies and put these things together and presented at the show there, so that's.
And
They come back every year.
on top of these, you guys had a song that year,
Right.
that was written in, about the popcorn ball drop.
A new tradition in good old Chagrin, to joyously usher the new year in, is to huddle downtown in front of each shop for Chagrin Falls' annual Popcorn Ball Drop. Out goes the old year, in comes the new, on a descending sphere of popcorn lit blue.
Again, this was not
Like not
orchestrated.
planned, or people just wanted to be a part of something.
Yeah.
Something big and something growing. So tell us a little bit about the song.
Well, it was by Tom McKay, who was a Chagrinite for his whole life. He wrote many songs about Chagrin. I think it was like 13 or 14 songs, and one of them was about the popcorn ball drop. So we have been playing Tom McKay's popcorn ball drop song for the last 7 years, and we'll continue to do that as long as we have a popcorn ball drop.
I mean, this is your second year. You already had a song and cone heads. I mean, popcorn heads. I mean, that's
It
crazy.
was so organic, it just sprouted.
Every year it gets better.
So
You know, the question I had, because I listened to it again today, that song, and there's something in there about the Chase Factory whistle.
Yes.
It replaced the Chase Factory whistle.
Gone are the days of the chase bag whistle, making the coming of New Year's official.
I don't know what
we
that's
need to
about.
find out,
Did
would
that
that
happen
be
on
cool to
movies?
play to do a of the chase
I
bag
think the
whistle?
chase bag whistle went off at midnight.
Okay.
Yes, they
See,
did.
that's cool. I didn't know.
Yeah, that would be cool to play there too, just a who and
Oh,
Yeah, it would.
So, Dewey, your staff, do they ever just want to say enough is enough, like we've reached our point? Because we'll talk a little how this starts growing in every way. Is your staff, do they rally around, are they excited about it?
They were definitely excited about it. It wasn't part of their job. They loved it. And as you see in the future, then they got creative with it. I didn't ask them to do this either, but they changed colors, they did stripes.
Yeah, we're gonna talk,
Every
definitely
year it
talk
got
about
bigger.
that.
No, they loved it. Those are,
Speaking of changing colors.
here, see, there's,
So this is a double picture, because not only did you change colors, did you ever in a million years think that it would get stolen and the press that would surround
I
the
did not
laptop?
steal the ball.
That is my question. Let's get it out right now. That was, so you housed the ball in front of the popcorn shop outside each year to show everybody it.
Right.
And this year, going into 2016, it got stolen.
You know, Patty Popcorn called me, and our manager, and she goes, well, the ball's not here, it looks like it was stolen. I go, oh, man, whatever, you know, maybe that's one way to get rid of it, because it was always kind of difficult getting rid of it. And so I called, and he said, let's do something. We put a letter, maybe it'll get in the Chagrin Valley Times, in the
Right,
blog,
in the
right?
blog.
It went national. It was the Chagrin Police Department was actually our PR department, because all they had to do was write it in somewhere, and it got picked up by the AP wires. I heard from people all over the world,
Everywhere.
literally all over the world. From somebody, I don't know, was it you? Were you in Somebody was,
Well, I think in England.
England, somebody was in
Yeah.
England.
somebody was on a cruise ship and made their little daily flyer on the cruise ship in the
Right. You
Mediterranean.
couldn't buy publicity. Do you feel like you saw the crowd rise in attendance after that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did get it back. It was
It came
returned.
back, yeah, it came back mysteriously. You know, a couple days after it made all this publicity, it kind of came back. I can kind of picture how that happened. It's like,
Clandestine.
well, I can see, you know, maybe a teenager sitting around and watching the news at 6 o'clock and going, oh boy, I'm
Yeah.
in trouble.
Yeah.
So it arrived back, and then it arrived, then it was still, I think this is true. Then I think because the township hall, or you bought it, you bought it, donated money to here, and I think that Amber, the chief of police,
Oh, yes.
delivered it to your house in the back of the
Correct.
squad car.
Yeah. No, what a big blessing it was for advertising, that it got stolen that year. But we talked about color, your staff loves to kind of mix it up a little
Yeah,
bit,
they get
right?
creative with it, and they're the ones that kind of pushed it to get bigger and bigger as well, until that one last year.
We introduced the cannon this
right.
year, going into 2016.
We got Jim Brocious, the former police chief, to use the village cannon, right at the stroke of midnight, boom, one shot, and then about 1 minute later, a second shot. So, Jim is our cannon
It
man.
is not for the faint of heart. I mean,
No, it isn't.
It
Oh, yeah.
lasts.
Yes.
It's a warning to anyone that attends that that's coming. Who is this? He was introduced this year as well.
That was Little Opie.
Little Opie.
And that was the idea of Rob Schwinn. Knowing that there was a possum drop in Bricktown, North Carolina, he said, we have to have a possum riding on the popcorn ball as it goes up and comes down. So he was nicknamed Opie.
Opie.
And that's Opie riding the popcorn
He
ball.
rides the ball still to this day.
Still to this day, every drop.
You guys don't just plan this on January 1st. This is a kind of an all-year thing. You guys get together, you have meetings. This is maybe talking to the press. We've got Barb in this picture. And obviously it's not in December because you guys are all wearing shorts. So how long, is it like Santa Claus and the Owl? Santa comes home and starts for the new Christmas?
Well, what do you think, Sally?
You know, definitely, well, we have to find a sponsor, and thanks to you, you always help us out with that.
So we plan all year for this, to make it grow, and I mean,
Right.
we can't get stale, you've got to come up with some creative, fun things. You guys do hot chocolate, here ahead of time, and then the hat you guys are wearing, that was going into 2017. So Kathy made these,
Kathy Schwinn, right.
Yeah.
She's about as creative as Rob is, in a
That's
different way.
that's quite a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's our secretary too. At any meeting, she's taking notes. And she has all the history.
I love it, I love it. You guys wear these moving forward, you wear them every year?
I wear them every Sunday.
Wear it to bed, put it on the nightstand. Let's see here. So we talked about the committee. These are just some of the trips. You want to just kind of tell, starting left to right, who everyone is in this picture? And there's more people, but this is just this picture.
These are the senior.
These are the ones that
Senior
show
elf.
up.
Senior elf.
I think going left to right, that's Ed Ponce, Ben Schuster, John Fenley, myself, Dewey, Rob, and Bob Bolton.
And Rob is the one with the yellow boots on, folks. That's Rob.
He's the main man.
The overall.
John from Joan, Ohio got involved in 2018 and
Here we are, folks. It's a little windy tonight, and we are at, obviously, the popcorn shop. We are live in Chagrin Falls for the 2018/19 popcorn ball drop.
And we have a video out where people can see some of his amazing pictures that he captured from the drone. He was there that night, and he's been there ever since.
Ever since, right?
Promoting and Great. And then tell a little bit about the little ball. So that one kind of makes its way up to the big ball, and as if you don't have enough to worry about with the big ball.
This again is Rob Schwinn, being creative, and his name is Little Colonel.
Little Colonel.
Little Colonel, and his job is to go from the gazebo up to the popcorn ball and release it to come down at midnight.
All timed out.
All timed out.
All timed out.
And perfectly
Well, let's say within 2 or 3 minutes.
you got a little wiggle room. It's not like
Wiggle
it's
room, like we
New Year's
need
Eve
it.
and you're reading in a brand new year, right? Let's see here. So, do we ever worry about getting it to the flagpole? I noticed that if anyone's watching, still watching, this gets bigger and bigger
It
each
gets
year.
bigger and bigger. It gets there. This is a turquoise model. I don't know why. Probably had a little leftover dye,
But how clever though, I mean, that's no simple task. I mean, to make it all blue is easy, to make it blue and original that's not an easy task.
well, the not easy task is kind of holding it all together.
And this one was solid, up till this point,
Yeah.
these are solid.
Yeah, and we tried.
And edible.
And edible, yeah.
We tried to make them edible up until it got a little too large,
Yeah.
where sugar was just not gonna hold it together. But up until this, yes, it was edible, and that was a criteria for, we had dreams of making the Guinness Book of World Records of the largest popcorn ball, but the one that won was a Minnesota Boy Scout troop that was as big as a house.
Oh, wow.
That took 28 days to build.
Gotcha, so we're not there yet.
But I think we may have the biggest one that's ever lifted.
Yeah, we're gonna show that in a little bit here. And when something popular comes around, everybody wants to be a part of it. And you guys are getting press. This year you guys shot out popcorn balls from another contraption that Rob made,
Right.
a flag or leaf blower.
It's a bazooka.
It's not a bazooka, everybody. I don't want any emails. It was a leaf blower that he
Retrofitted.
robbed,
Yeah.
as they would say, and made it. But the picture of Jan Jones that made the paper, holding that,
That's a great
and
picture.
shooting that.
I know, the ball's coming out.
Oh my
It's a
gosh.
great picture.
Yeah, you can't pay for stuff like
We went
that.
down,
This picture is
So
Channel
practice
8, and we went down to their studio, and after this shot right here, Rob got his bazooka out and started shooting popcorn balls in the studio.
Oh my gosh. So, I mean,
They loved it.
everybody rallied around you guys, and the press and the community, the businesses. It is now a full-fledged tradition here in Grand Falls, right?
It's a thing.
Yeah, going into 19, you made it all blue. Is it getting, is flavor being shot into this? Is this
Well,
like a
the
true
blue
thing?
is, that all natural, blue raspberry,
Nothing more natural than blue popcorn.
I don't think I've ever seen a blue raspberry, but I guess there's one.
So again, whose decision is it? Like, does your staff just come up with what
The
color?
staff comes up with the colors and the design of that, but 19, actually, I'm not sure that's 19, because 19 was humongous.
Well, that's going into 20.
Well,
That's
All right.
what's coming. I know,
Okay.
it's very confusing, but that is correct.
All right.
Fact finder people, that is correct. That is going into 2019. Going into 2020, what the heck were you thinking?
Couple of poppers. Well, again, this is a Rob thing, and he made this out of kiddie pools and bolted them together. And then our guys put popcorn on the outside, and we still tried to be true to it by using sugar,
Yeah.
and corn syrup.
And
However,
no one said at this point, this is too big.
Oh, I did.
Again, the idea came from Rob. He wanted bigger.
I'm seeing it.
Yeah, there's a trend here.
So actually, the sugar didn't work all that well, so we started using an adhesive epoxy.
So there's the ball in the background, humongous, and so the outside is the popcorn, but what we just saw,
Is-
but that is underneath it.
That's correct. Now, apparently, stay tuned because Rob's going to have 2 years to design the
Correct,
next one.
as it should be, as it should be. Jan here and Larry Morrow. Larry was the voice of Humongous, and
Yeah,
Jan
that
interviews.
You know, baritone voice.
So amazing, so amazing. Do you get a lot of people in the popcorn shop that come in throughout the year saying, I went to it, I love it, or anything like that?
Oh, sure. You know, it has become a huge thing. On social media, we get a lot of questions. Whether or not it's going to happen this year, that was a big question. We did do a popcorn tin with here. And, you know, that sold well. That was fun. That was good. And, you know, I feel, not guilty, but I feel indebted to all these people working so hard for this thing because we get a lot of press out of it.
Right,
I'm
right.
well aware of that. And I
Well, you do
appreciate
make the
it.
ball.
Yeah, we created it.
You make the ball. There was actually a book written about it, about the little Sherman who waits to be taken to the ball drop, and doesn't get there but finds a friend instead. So I'm going to plug my own book in this. This had to be a difficult decision this year. You know, with 2020, everything being canceled, you guys obviously decided to not do it. Was it the reasoning, obviously, for the gathering? You didn't want to create a gather and...
It seemed at the time, and it still does, maybe even more so, but even when we decided back in the fall that now this year was not the year to gather a crowd, and to pull off a promotion that doesn't gather a crowd is a little outside of my wheelhouse.
Right.
But
And you knew it would regardless of if you promoted it or not, or...
yeah, it was,
Interestingly,
Yeah.
at the meeting, we all had a closed ballot, and everybody wrote if they wanted to have it or not. And we thought, well, we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And by gosh, everybody voted. It was unanimous.
Yeah, it
To was, not yeah. do it.
Not to have it this year.
So do we have a sneak peek of what 2021 might bring?
no, I'm afraid.
Because you got some making up to do. Yeah,
I'm afraid again because Rob's already started thinking about it.
I'm sure he has.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're thinking about better music. We're thinking about having a roving reporter reporting from the crowd. So there's some ideas that we have going. And of course, we've got Rob. We don't know what he's up to yet.
Right.
He's got another year to think about it.
And you just kind of let him go with the ball, like that's his thing.
Yep.
And then you guys create it. Well, kudos to all of you guys for thinking of something creative and not being afraid to actually do it. And that it then turns into something that literally you bring families together that experience an incredible, safe, family-friendly New Year's Eve and the memories that people will remember throughout, and it's a family tradition now. So kudos to all you guys for putting in the effort and the thought. And so on behalf of Chagrin Falls, thank you guys for thinking outside the box and creating a tradition. Well, thank you, and we look forward to what you guys are all going to bring to us for New Year's Eve 2021 going into 2022. So Happy New Year to you guys. Stay safe and well. And we'll see you next year.
It's going to be a great New Year.
That's right. That's right.